What is up, Edge Nation? Charles Weldy here.
Jake Baker here.
We have you covered as always for all things football. So let's get you ready for this matchup. We got the Packers, who are trying to bounce back a little bit at 6-6. You got the Browns, who are on the clock and have been on the clock for 3 weeks at 0-12. This is a home game for the Browns. Is Rodgers playing?
Rodgers is not going to be playing this week, but they're saying he's going to come back next week. They're confident that they're going to keep him in contention, but, they got the man Hundley, who's been kind of keeping the boat from sinking so far this season. 3 touchdown passes against the Steelers a couple weeks ago, which was big. He showed a lot of, firepower in his game that week, but, as far as he's been playing, 5 touchdowns, 8 picks, turning the ball over too much, he's got to not do that in this game.
And then you have Kaiser, who I've never heard of.
Yeah, Kaiser, out of Notre Dame, 6 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. Turning the ball over a lot. He's getting
a lot of interceptions in this game.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of picks, it looks like. So I think it's going to come down to the defenses. But, they got to lean on one thing that he's got to do is lean on his receiver, Josh Gordon. Josh Gordon coming back, he was in 2013, he had all those suspensions with marijuana and drugs and things like that.
Which is frowned upon.
Which is frowned upon in the NFL. Which I guess is a surprise to Josh Gordon, but he didn't know that. But he had in his game back, he had 4 receptions for 85 yards, so pretty decent. And Kaiser missed a couple throws to him that he could have had a bigger game in.
Because that's what Kaiser does.
Exactly. It looks like he's overthrown him, had a couple picks, so rough. But Josh Gordon, 2013, he was the only receiver to ever have 2 back-to-back 200-yard games. Certainly a guy who can break apart a defense. The nickname Flash, so he can certainly get behind the defense. Sure. So he's only 26 years old, and he's looking to make a big impact in this game.
Can get off the weeds.
Yeah.
Let's look at the Browns' defense. What do you think?
Yeah, the Browns' defense, they're not as bad as people say. They've been what's keeping them in kind of having a lot of close games this year. They've had quite a few. They're the 6th rush defense in yards allowed, and the 4th in touchdowns on the ground given up a game, which is only at 0.6. So they're a pretty solid defense overall.
Of course, you could say they're always behind, so teams are letting off the gas a little bit.
Sure.
We'll give them some credit. We'll give them some positive credit.
They've been pretty solid on the defensive end as far as that goes. But, as far as the Packers' rush defense, which is a pretty interesting stat, Jamal Williams and Aaron Jones, 2 guys that have kind of taken over the helm since Ty Montgomery's been a little shaken up with those rib injuries. They're 16th in the league in rush yards per game, which is interesting. That's after the Aaron Rodgers injury, and before the Aaron Rodgers injury, they're only 26. So obviously the Packers are a different team when it comes to running the football when Aaron Rodgers in and with Aaron Rodgers out.
Makes sense. Okay.
Yep.
Josh Gordon, we already talked about. Packers defense.
Yeah, the Packers defense. They're 26th overall in pass yards given up per game, and 19th in pass touchdowns. So, a team that
could be a good matchup.
That could be a pretty good matchup for Flash. You can get out there and really have a big game. This is at the Browns Stadium, so anything can really happen out there. The Packers, by all means, are not the same Packers team that we see with Aaron Rodgers, so you never know what can happen in this game.
Cold weather game, the 100 fans there could be really loud, possibly. Yeah. What do you think is going to happen with the Browns with that first-round draft pick? Are they looking at one of those quarterbacks from the West Coast, the USC guy?
Yeah, you never know. What they're going to go with there. They never seem to surprise me. Taking Jabril Peppers out of Michigan last year was just such a weird pick for me. He's just such a guy who didn't have a role in a defense, and they took him in that. So I don't know what that front office is thinking, but I'm sure they're going to take another quarterback.
Oh, great. Good to know. All right, guys, Super Bowl weekend. That's when our players report to camp. Our first game is Sunday, February 25th, here at the Gross Good Motors Arena. Great tickets still available, 484-840-3343. One other thing, January 11th, we have an open house. So you can come by, you can meet some of our players, take a tour, see the suite, see all the great premium seating we have for you guys. As usual, Charles Weldy,
Jake Baker,
and that was Football
Faster.